do you deal with everything that happens to your body in teen years? No, like there's something else here. Like I kind of want to kiss him. I guess Instagram was just trying to find me someone to hook up with, which, I mean, thanks Instagram. How do you deal with depression? Because I've been going through it for a while now. How did you find out you were gay? Have you ever gotten an STD? I'm really flexible personally, so like I can do a lot. So like because there have been a handful of people that have really taken advantage of my vulnerability and are kind of preying on that. Me talking about sexual things does not give you an open invitation to sexualizing me. Hi guys, it's Aiden. Welcome back to my channel, or if this is the first video you're seeing of me. So I'm so excited for today's video because this is going to be episode 3 of this series that I started on my YouTube channel called Teen Talk. This is basically a series where I ask you guys on my Instagram story, plug, you know, go follow me on Instagram. I ask you guys on my Instagram story to submit any questions or just things that are kind of going on in your life that maybe are a little TMI, a little personal, things that you're maybe a little too scared to ask other people in your life, whether it's friends, family, whoever it might be. And in this series, I go through all your guys' submissions and I anonymously pick a couple out and I talk about them and I guess try to give you my advice, but also my whole thing with this series is I just wanted to create a really safe space on the internet. The internet's really judgmental, not even just the internet, but the world in general. I think we need a little more empathy and compassion. And also just with a lot of these topics, I think they're super taboo and a lot of people don't want to talk about these things, which is understandable, but I want my channel to be a safe space and a place where you guys can come ask these questions and not feel judged and not feel like you're gonna get a response that's just gonna make you feel worse. I love this series so much. I have 2 other episodes that you guys can definitely go watch. I love both of those videos so much and I definitely encourage, if you haven't checked those out before, subscribe to my channel. My name is Aiden Watson. I've been making a lot of content lately, literally uploading like almost every other day, and I've been having so much fun with it, and I would love for you to subscribe and be around for that and hang out. I post so many different types of content and I'm sure there's something out there that you might be interested in. So consider subscribing, baby. Also, again, follow me on Instagram because when I do these videos, I do go to my Instagram story to get the questions from you guys. So if you ever want to be in a video like this in the future, you gotta follow me on Instagram. Yeah, without further ado, let's just get into this video. As a gay teenager, what do I do to get out of a situationship with a straight guy? So I've personally never been in a situation like this. I think it's very interesting and I'm obviously not judging the person who submitted this, but I will say I do get a lot of submissions of people asking about like how to deal with straight guys and how to deal with crushing on them or kind of being in relationships with them, whether it's like a situationship or whatnot. And I've never been through anything like that before because I literally have no interest in that. And I'm not saying that people who are in these situations like want to be in them. I don't know. It's such an interesting topic for me because I've never been in a situation like that. And I honestly try to do everything I can to avoid it because I know it's never going to end well. So honestly, I feel like the only piece of advice I can give to this is like completely just cutting contact. If this guy is actually straight, which it's totally their business, it's that person's journey to figure out who they like on their own. But if they truly are straight, bottom line, it's never going to work. And not only is it never going to work, but you are going to continuously get hurt over and over and over again if you don't simply just put an end to it. I know that sounds super like duh. You know it's just hurting you over and over. And although there is probably some sort of validation that you get from this person, I promise you there's somebody else out there who's going to give you that validation and is actually going to appreciate it way more than a person who isn't comfortable enough to come into their own sexuality, if that makes any sense. Because you also do have to think long term. How do you see this really ending in the long term? Do you see this person eventually coming into their own sexuality, which that could happen, but is it, you know, more likely? Probably not. I'm gonna advise you to just completely stop it, but that's just me. How do you deal with depression? Because I've been going through it for a while now. Oh god. I mean, I've had such a long history with depression. I've been on the craziest roller coaster you guys would not believe. I'm gonna say this, and I totally understand that this isn't necessarily advice, but I do want to just give you a little bit of hope and light at the end of the tunnel if you don't already have some, because I do think it could be just reassuring to hear. I genuinely did not think there was a way in hell that I was ever going to get out of the depression that I did. I thought there was absolutely no possibility. I thought my life was just going to be completely horrible and black and colorless, and that was just the way my life was going to be, and there was no changing that. And I can confidently say now that I've never been more happy and secure and just proud of myself, especially with the fact that I made it through all of that. I guess when it comes to advice and things that I would, you know, advise people who are going through their depression, even just the smallest things that bring you happiness, you have to hold on to that. That has to be your lifeline, and you have to have something to hold on to, even if it's something so small as a passion you have, or some music you like, or some hobbies you have. For me, in my experience, making videos was my lifeline. No matter what I was going through, and I went through a lot, making videos was the one thing that I held on to, because this is what I love to do, and I know this is what I'm meant to do. And so being able to hold on to this, and despite everything I went through, like I continued making videos, that was the only thing that brought me joy for the longest time. And I don't know where I would be if I didn't have making videos. And obviously, like looking back at those videos that I was making when I was super depressed, they're not very good videos. That's okay, because I was mainly doing it for myself. I just needed something to distract myself with, even if it was just for an hour a day, getting to turn my camera on and forget about the depression I had. Not forget about it necessarily, because it was always there still, but to even slightly take my mind off of the craziness that was going on in my head, and to be able to film a video, edit it, and then post it off to the world. That was the only thing that got me through what I did. Obviously, you know, I started going to therapy and I started to get like actual treatment for all of the help that I needed, but I do also recognize that not everybody has that privilege and not everybody is able to go to therapy or have medication. So you have to just find little things to hold on to, and I know that's easier said than done, but truly in the long run, like, you are going to look back and you're going to be so grateful that you had even just that one thing. Even if that one thing right now is going to seem so useless to you and you feel like it's not helping you that much, I promise you, you're going to look back and be so grateful that you had at least that one thing. And I promise you there is something out there for you, even if you feel like there's not. So just find that one thing, really hold on to that, and I promise you, you'll be very thankful for that in the long run. I'm going into high school next year and I'm really nervous. Do you have any tips or advice? If you've watched my other 2 episodes of this, I am going to say the same thing that I've said in those videos. Genuinely just be a good and kind person. I know that's not what you want to hear, and I know you want to hear this master plan I have laid out for you on how to get through high school, but so much is going to happen in high school, and I obviously don't know what that's going to look like for you. A lot happened for me, and a lot happens for everybody, and truly the only thing that got me through high school was the fact that I knew deep down at the end of the day, when I got to lay in my bed after the school day, was the fact that I knew I was a good person and that I had good intentions, and that's who I was at the core of my being. So many people are going to have so many things to say, especially in high school. There's rumors, there's horrible people, there's mean people, there's bullies. There's going to be so many people saying so many different things, and as long as you have that awareness that despite what anybody says, you know you're a good person, that's what's going to be able to get you through high school. And I say that because that's all that got me through high school. I've talked about this before many times, and I swear I'm not just saying this to like get sympathy from you and make you feel bad for me, but I didn't have any friends in school. I sat alone every single day at lunch. Although I had that, I did still have people who would pick on me and have people who would bully me for being alone and literally throw food at me when I would sit alone every single day at lunch. And that was so painful to go through. And I always felt like, why me? Like, why are you picking on me when I'm already down? Why are you picking on me when I don't have any friends to begin with? Like, why am I getting made fun of for not having friends? And so that was very painful, and it was one of the hardest things I've had to go through. But again, at the end of the day, when I went home and I looked in the mirror, I knew who I was as a person, and I knew that I would never do that to somebody else. And I knew that I was a kind person who, despite the way other people made me feel, like I had a purpose. Even if I didn't know it then, I knew I had something to share with the world, and I wasn't this literal piece of trash that people were treating me and acting like I was. So that's what I'm gonna say. And again, I'm sorry that I don't have, when it comes to school, I don't have advice on like how to deal with bullies and friends and like kind of the social aspect of it, which I think is what most people struggle with. But I just don't really have advice on that because I didn't talk to anybody in school for the most part. I apologize that I don't have the best advice for that, but I also do just encourage everybody to be a kind person, because like I was saying in the intro, there's so much hate and negativity in the world. And not that I'm trying to be like a spokesperson and be like the #1 positivity person, but I promise you, putting kindness out in the world, you will get it back. And I've always kind of lived with the mentality of you do good things and good things will happen, and if you do bad things will happen to you. I know so many people are like, this is such stupid advice, but genuinely, like, trust me. Like, just trust me, okay? This isn't a question, but I love your channel. Congrats on 5K. Thank you so much. I'm so excited. I won't talk about this for too long, but I'm so proud of myself for getting to where I am. 5,000 subscribers doesn't seem like that much to people, but it means the absolute world to me. And this is what I want to do so badly in my life. I want to be a content creator, and I'm not just saying that to be like, I just want to be an influencer. Like, I want to, you know, whatever. I like to think I use my platform for good, and I actually have a story to share and reason behind everything I do. It's not just I want to be rich and famous. Like, it's not about that for me. So thank you so much. This means like it means the world to me. Anybody that supports me in any capacity. You guys have literally no idea. How did you find out you were gay? I think I touched on this on the very first video I ever made for this series. Basically, in 8th grade, I had a crush on a guy. I didn't realize I had a crush on him. He was a friend of mine, and I didn't actually realize that I had a crush on him. I just remember I would always be so nervous around him, and I felt the need to impress him all the time and make him think that I was like cool, which is kind of what I brushed it off as. I was like, no, I just want him to think I was cool. But then I was like, no, like there's something else here. Like, I kind of want to kiss him. So there you go. That's how I found out. How do you deal with everything that happens to your body in teen years? Very interesting question. I think I'm going to be so honest, and trigger warning, I am going to talk about personal eating disorder for the next like probably 30 seconds. So if that's triggering, you can skip ahead. I'll put a little time thing so you know when to go to. But it was really hard for me because I was struggling with an eating disorder in the prime teenage years, the years that I really should have been strengthening my body because I was going from a kid to an adult, I was damaging my body and hurting it so much, and that was really hard for me. And I honestly still to this day think I'm dealing with like repercussions from that, which sucks a lot. It's also hard too because like obviously we know there's all this conversation about like you're a twink, and that's a whole other thing that maybe we'll talk about later. Personally hate that, and I hate when people say that to me. I think it's really frustrating for me because I've just struggled with an eating disorder for so long. I hate when people talk about mine or anybody's body. Like I will never understand why people feel the need to comment on other people's bodies. It sounds obvious and it sounds like duh, but literally so many people just have so many things to say about other people's bodies, and I will never understand that in any capacity. Doesn't make sense to me. So that's a whole other thing, and I'm sorry we're kind of getting off topic. In terms of how to deal with everything, I guess the first thing I'll say is everything is normal as long as you're not, being unhealthy to your body. Also, everybody goes through things differently. There's not really a blueprint on what your body is going to do and what your body's going to look like, and once you hit this age, your body's going to automatically start doing this. Everybody's super different, and I think in a lot of ways I'm probably due to my eating, but I'm actually really underdeveloped in a lot of ways, which I will say that was kind of hard for me to deal with growing up. But again, everybody's so different, and I think just remembering your journey is not going to look like somebody else's, your body's not going to look like somebody else's just because you're the same age. I think that's a really important thing to keep in mind while you're kind of going through all that stuff. In your last video, you mentioned about meeting people on Instagram. Like, how do you come across people? This is actually so interesting, and when I read this for the first time, I really had to sit and think about how that even came about, and I don't even have like an answer for you. I don't know, it's so weird. Basically, in my last video, I talked about the fact that, well, I had the realization that pretty much everyone that I've ever met in terms of people that I've dated or people I've hooked up with have literally been through Instagram, and I didn't even realize that until I sat down and was filming the video, and it kind of hit me in that moment. I don't actually know how I came across people like that. It's very interesting. I think some of them, people reach out to me, and other times it would be me reaching out. I don't know. Like, I genuinely don't know. Sometimes it just happens. Sometimes I would be on Instagram and it would literally just pop up as suggested account that they think that I should follow. I guess Instagram was just trying to find me someone to hook up with, which, I mean, thanks Instagram. But I don't know. It all just kind of happens, and it's weird because I've never actively trying to look for it. It kind of just comes my way, and that's how it happens. I will say I think a lot of it too is because I have been posting my life for so long on the internet that people do end up reaching out to me in that way, which is very interesting. So, but I do think that's probably a big part of it because people are able to see me and see so much of me, whether it's my YouTube channel, my Instagram, or whatever it might be. So I guess maybe that's part of it, but even then I'm like, I don't know. It's weird for sure. Is it okay to feel upset about a talking stage ending? I feel silly for feeling upset. It is absolutely so okay to be upset that a talking stage ended. You guys know I love Taylor Swift, and if you didn't know, well, maybe use your context clues, but I love the Torture Poets department. And if that album has taught me anything, it's the fact that a situationship can actually f you up more than a 6-year-long relationship. So I think it's totally okay. I think the thing with talking stages, and maybe I'm just speaking from my own personal experience, I think the reason talking stages end up hurting so much is because you never fully get to see what actually could have been. Because you never got to fulfill actually trying to be in a relationship with this person, it makes you think maybe they were the one that got away. Maybe they were actually my person and I'll never even know because we never got to try anything. So I think in that regard, I think it's totally okay to feel upset about it, but I am going to say something cliche, which is that there are plenty of other people out there, I promise. Your person isn't going to be someone that just wants a talking stage with you and then just disappears. That's not your person. So it's okay to feel upset about it, but also don't dwell on it too much because clearly that wasn't your person. Okay, so as I'm going through these, I have a lot of different people asking advice on how to make friends, whether it's making friends or meeting people or meeting friends. I feel underqualified. If there's anything I feel underqualified to talk about, I do think it's about meeting people, because especially when it comes to meeting like friends, like I'm not even talking about relationships. I don't think I really should be talking about how to meet friends because I don't have very many friends. Like I said, I didn't have any friends in high school, so I didn't come out of high school with a bunch of friends. And then ever since I graduated high school like 2 years ago, I haven't really made not that I haven't made any friends, because I've made a couple, but it's all just been through the internet. They are friends that I've met in person before, so it's not like I'm just chatting with a random person. Like, I've met them before, we've hung out before. I don't know. I'm gonna be so honest. I'm not even really, maybe this is not a good thing, but I'm not really super interested in trying to meet people right now, romantically or even like friend-wise. I would love to meet friends and meet people, but I'm so focused with like content creating right now and making videos and really trying to make this my full-time job that I honestly don't even have time to do things to make other friends. I'm obviously going to advise things that anybody will say, which is obviously, you know, putting yourself out there, putting yourself in situations that you wouldn't normally be in, because that's how you're actually going to meet new people. If you're only putting yourself in situations that you've already been in before, then, you know, you're not going to meet new people that way. I feel like I have to say, like, find people on the internet as well, because so many of my friends I've met through the internet. So obviously, internet's also a great place. And when it comes to actually meeting people on the internet, I honestly am just gonna say, like, make content. I've gotten a lot of people asking, like, how do you specifically make friends on the internet? And I think for me, it's just I've been making content for so long, and that's how I've made friends. I've had people come across my content who like my content, and when they watch it, they think, you know, maybe I'd actually want to be his friend. And so that's how I become friends with people. I used to always get confused when people would ask me how I made friends on the internet, because I'd be like, I don't know, like, I just kind of did. But in retrospect, because I post content, this is honestly why I even made all the friends that I did. So honestly, if you start making some content, I think you'll definitely start making some friends. So that's my advice on that. TMI, but any suggestions for positions for the first time? Me and boyfriend trying to find a comfortable one. Okay, well, I'm assuming the person asking this is in a gay relationship, so like guy and guy. If you didn't know, that's gay. I don't know. Here's the thing with me. It's not that I haven't tried crazy positions before, but I genuinely, like, I'm not interested. I'm not interested in doing anything crazy in terms of like actual specific position. Because the thing is like, especially being gay, I'm so sorry to tell you this, it's never gonna be comfortable. The amount of times that I've done it, and it gets easier, yeah, and you get used to it, but it's never. This is why I don't actually like having sex. I'd rather just do everything else other than actually like intercourse, because it's not fun to me, and it just is painful, and it's a whole thing. In terms of positions, I think laying face down and the other person being on top is probably just the easiest. Also, laying on your back, legs, not me actually doing it, laying on your back, legs spread open. I'm really flexible personally, so like I can do a lot, and it's not uncomfortable to me. So like getting really personal. I've personally found that I'm able to like put both of my legs around the person's neck, and that's comfortable for me. Maybe that's not comfortable for you. If you're not flexible, then that's probably a nightmare to you. What else? I mean, can never go wrong with, what is it? Ass up, being arched. This is crazy. I can't believe I'm talking about this on the internet. Also, cowgirl. I feel like that's a pretty easy one. That was the first one I ever did when I lost my virginity. I don't want to go into too much detail, you know. I think in terms of comfortability, just don't try to do anything crazy yet. You can implement that later once you had experience and actually like become comfortable with stuff, but don't try to do anything crazy because, you know, keep it simple. Any tips for bottoming? I feel the need to remind everybody that this is a judge-free zone. Okay? Cool. My biggest tip for that is you have to just practice with yourself beforehand. I can't imagine, oh my god, I can't imagine doing that for the first time and not having practice for the first time. You have to practice with yourself before you do it. That's like the number one thing I'm gonna say. Also, it is gonna hurt. Just be prepared for that. Also, lube is gonna be your best friend. Do not be afraid to use a ton of lube, because that's what's gonna make it tolerable. Without that, oh my god, a nightmare. But yeah, my biggest piece of advice is genuinely just practicing with yourself, getting comfortable with your body and getting comfortable, because it's not really a comfortable thing to be doing to begin with. So just get comfortable with your body in doing it by yourself, so that way when you are with someone else, you know what to expect, but also you know your boundaries and you know what's too much, and you're able to use that when you're actually, you know, doing it for the first time. So stay safe, stay protected, and have fun, I guess. I don't know. Okay, this one I just had to add in because it's crazy. Would you ever get with any of her friends, Mason, Sabrina? No. Girl, what the hell? No. No. I just had to throw that in there because I'm sure they'll both get a laugh out of, if they watch this video, they'll get a laugh out of seeing that, because I did. That's crazy. Have you ever gotten an STD? I personally have not. Like I said, I don't actually even really like to have intercourse all that often because it's not interesting to me. I will say my grandma would be very proud of me for saying this, because this is literally her job. But if you are going to be continually sexually active, I do really recommend getting on some sort of, I think it's called PrEP. I should have asked my grandma, because again, this is literally what she does for a living, but it's a pill that you take, I think once a month or something, and it basically prevents you from getting STD. I don't think it's, obviously, I'm sure it's not like a foolproof thing, but there's obviously all these things out there, especially when it comes to gay sex. It can be very, very dangerous, especially if you're not being protected. And the thing with like condoms and stuff, that's not like, obviously use those and be smart and be safe, but that's not like a foolproof solution. Like you can still get stuff even from using condoms. I was not aware of this, but you can literally get, oh god, this is why I don't want to be like an informational channel, because I don't have all the information and I don't want to say something incorrect. I wasn't even aware that you can get, I think it's STDs from giving head, and I didn't know that, and I probably should have, but I haven't gotten anything before. You can get stuff even from giving head, which I wasn't aware of. I thought it was only through like intercourse. Be careful, do your research, obviously stay safe and stay protected, but also do realize that there can be really, really life-threatening and life-changing consequences if you aren't being safe and protected. So yeah. Is 13 too young to date? Okay, I don't know how I feel about this actually. I'm gonna say no because I don't think that there's anything wrong with being 13 years old and having a wholesome little middle school relationship. I will say I think there's a lot of pressure. I can't imagine being like 12, 13, 14 years old nowadays. I thought it was hard when I was a 13-year-old. I can't imagine how it is nowadays. There's such an epidemic right now currently going on of kids just not wanting to be kids and they just want to be adults so bad. And I will say, like, I did kind of fall into that too. I wanted to be an adult so bad, but I only wanted to be an adult because I wanted the freedom of being an adult. I wasn't like trying to be in relationships at a super young age and trying to have sex super young. And I think that that's what's currently happening, and that really scares the shit out of me actually, and I don't understand why that's happening. So I don't think 13 is too young. I think there's a lot of 13-year-olds that are dating, and I don't think, again, there's anything wrong with like a wholesome middle school relationship, holding hands while you walk to class and, I don't know, going to the mall together. But where I start to, I guess, hesitate and push back a little bit, I don't think it should be anything more than like a wholesome little relationship. Nothing more than that. I think once you start to implement more adult things in a relationship, and obviously, you know, I'm kind of alluding to like sex and stuff, but I also mean just like other things in general, that's where I'm kind of, I don't think that should be happening. I think it's too young. I'm not encouraging that. To anybody out there who's watching who's maybe young, I just want to say there's nothing wrong with being young, and I promise you there's no rush to be an adult. You will be an adult before you know it, and when you do become an adult, you're going to be wishing that you spent more time just being a kid, because once you become an adult, you can't not be an adult anymore. You're an adult, and that's who you are for the rest of your life. Again, I'm not discouraging to be in a relationship at 13, but also like be a kid. It's okay to be a kid. I promise. It's actually really cool to be just a normal kid. You don't need to try to be an adult. Okay, well, I guess this is a good segue for this next question. How old is it acceptable to start doing something sexual? New to your channel, but love you already. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I don't know. Like, I don't think that there's like a set age to start doing stuff. And I say that because everybody is so different, especially when it comes to maturity levels. I don't even remember how old I was when I lost my virginity. I think I was 15, about to turn 16. I don't know. I feel like 15 is so young, but I do understand that that's like kind of normal, but I also don't know what's normal. I don't know what's going on anymore. I don't know what being in middle school or high school looks like anymore. Not that I'm like super old. I'm literally 19, but I just feel like everything is so different now. I don't know. I don't think that there's a right age to it, obviously. Like, I can't sit here and be like, when you turn 17, like then you can start doing it, because there's some 17-year-olds that I don't think should be doing it. So I guess it's situational, but also, I don't know. Everybody's just so different. I don't feel comfortable sitting here and telling people when it is or isn't okay to do stuff like that. I'm gonna say like 16 is like the youngest it should be happening, in my opinion. I don't know, because I don't know, because I can't even sit here and be like, just do it whenever you start feeling comfortable, because I think when you're that young, it's hard to tell, am I actually comfortable in doing this, or do I just want to get it over with? I think instinctually, deep down, you do know the truth to that answer, but a lot of people become blindsided and they kind of ignore that. So, but also, if you don't lose your virginity until you're 25 years old, that's totally fine. And there's nothing wrong with that. Don't let anybody shame you into feeling otherwise. Do you think masturbation is normal? If so, how often do you do it? It is so normal. Please don't let anybody tell you otherwise. I know it's kind of a weird thing to talk about, and I still get a little nervous talking about masturbation, because it's like that one thing that I'm like I get a little uncomfortable talking about it, but it's so normal. We need to talk about this more, because I feel uncomfortable talking about it because nobody wants to talk about it. So I'm gonna break down that wall. Yes, it's normal. In terms of how much I do it, honestly, it depends. If we're being honest, it's probably like every other day. Obviously, sometimes I don't do it for a couple days, or some days I do it back-to-back days, but it's totally normal, especially because I'm literally a 19-year-old dude. Like, it's normal. Have you ever gotten bullied for being gay? Because I have. You're my favorite person ever. Aw, that's so sweet. Thank you. I'm so sorry to hear that you've been bullied for being gay. I've said this before, but I will never understand why people care about other people's sexualities and who they want to marry, or it blows my mind. I sympathize with you in that regard. I hate hearing that. And yes, I have been bullied a lot for it. It's obviously, there's not really a way to beat around that bush, and it's also hard. I mean, it just sucks so much because you can't control it. I just remember every time I'd get bullied for it, it just was the worst thing for me, because I genuinely was just being myself and people were hating me for being myself, and I never understood why. I don't really like to get political on this channel because, to be so honest, I have zero desire to talk about politics or have that be a thing that I talk about on my channel. But especially nowadays, like, you know, with the current people in power that we have, I mean, for me being, you know, living in the United States, it's really scary. And I hate that, because I don't understand why people feel so strongly about people wanting to date the same sex or marry the same sex or sleep with whoever they want. I will never understand that. And it's really scary again right now, just because there's so many people in power that are so hateful and so horrible, which is another reason I actually really like to do this series, because I want people to feel safe and supported when they watch my channel. If we're gonna get like super honest in this video, I love this series and I'm so grateful for it and all the doors that it's kind of opened for me. When I started this series, I never thought that like people people would care, to be honest. I love being vulnerable because I think I have a lot to share and I have a lot of life experiences that other people could hear that could maybe help them. But I never thought so many people would care and also trust me to share these really personal, intimate moments with me. So for that, I'm super grateful. But I will say, just being so transparent and honest, doing this series has also been a little bit difficult because there have been a handful of people that have really taken advantage of my vulnerability and are kind of preying on that. And that's like really scary to me, and I'm strong enough to deal with it, and it's kind of just whatever, it's part of what I do. And I know this question was talking about bullying, but there's so much that comes with being gay, and obviously I'm talking about me and my experience and posting on the internet, and you know, I totally understand this is what I signed up for, and if I'm going to be vulnerable on the internet, then I do just have to deal with this type of stuff. But it's been really scary to see people kind of preying on that and just message me or comment really weird things that are super exploitative of me and sexualizing me. Like, I think people think because I'm openly talking about sexual stuff that means that I want to be sexualized, and I guess this is the time that I should say that's not at all what I want. Me talking about sexual things does not give you an open invitation to sexualizing me. That's not something I'm interested in, and I don't like that. And I only bring this up because I do think it kind of ties in with being bullied for being gay, because there is a whole other conversation to be had about how gay people a lot of the time exploit themselves because they were being exploited to begin with, and a lot of that starts with bullying. Sorry to go on that little tangent and that little rampage. I know that kind of got a little heavy for a second, but it's rough out here. It really is, and I'm trying to do my part and make the world a better place and to give a safe space for people, and all I guess I can do is just continue to do that and hope that I'm helping people. So yeah. What were your childhood dreams, if you had any? Literally, this is my dream. Literally, my only dream was I wanted to be a content creator. Literally from day one. I remember in 5th grade, I had to do a project on the future job and career that I wanted, and I literally said being a YouTuber. So yeah, this is all I've ever wanted to do, which is why I'm like really hustling right now, because I want to do this so bad. And I know I already talked about this, so we don't need to repeat it, but I know this is what I meant to do. Yeah, that's been literally my childhood dream job since I was a child. How'd you get over your nail biting? This is actually a great question because I used to always bite my nails, and for some reason this year, at the literally very beginning of the new year, I was like, we're done doing that. We're done doing that. I don't want to do that anymore. I feel bad because I don't even have advice on how I like did that. My nails they used to be a lot longer, but I broke my nail when I was at Disneyland, so they're not that long. Actually, they are pretty long right now, but I like my nails super long, so I'm still growing them out. But yeah, I don't know. I don't really have advice on how I stopped doing it. I literally just told myself one day, stop, and I did. So that's not really good advice, so I apologize. I love this new series, and I'm thankful you're creating such a safe and comfort space. Do you have any advice when you have to do a lot of things but feel overwhelmed and without energy? Do you have any ways to keep a positive mindset and get through when at a low or having a bad mood? I literally wrote a long text in the notes app, but these responses have to be short and sweet. Have a great day. Thank you so much. That was so sweet. Yeah, with Instagram, you do have to keep them very short, which kind of sucks, and I've actually thought about making like a Google form so that you guys can submit stuff that way. Let me know if you're interested in that. But anyway, advice on how to have a positive mindset. I mean, I really feel like I haven't had a positive mindset in my life up until recently, and it's actually crazy because I literally had therapy like an hour ago before I started filming this video, and I was literally talking about in therapy how I don't know what the switch was for me this year. For some reason this year, I had a really hard end to last year, and I went through so much at the end of last year, but for some reason going through all that really like flipped a switch in me, and it made me start this year being like, this is a new year. We need to pick ourselves up. Life is actually so beautiful and so incredible. And again, I don't know what clicked like in my head that made me start to think that. I think for me, I've been through so much, and I've kind of gotten to the point where I've suffered for long enough and I've been through too much, and I'm like, I might as well just start having a good life. Not that I was willingly and like purposefully having a bad life, but I've gotten to the point now where, again, I've just been through so much that I just need to take care of myself, and I'm tired of kicking myself down when I was already low to begin with. I might as well comfort myself and be nice to myself, because at the end of the day, like, nobody's gonna do that for you. You can obviously have people in your life that are going to be supportive and loving towards you, and I encourage that completely, but you're the only person that can love you and truly actually love you in the way that you know you need to be loved. So I totally understand, and I've totally been there where I feel overwhelmed and without energy to literally do anything. Especially when I was in high school, I would literally go to school all day, come home, take a nap, and then just like do nothing for the rest of the day because I just didn't have energy to do anything. So I totally have been there, and I totally understand that. I guess when it comes to advice, I would just say you don't know what your life is going to look like as much as you think you do, and you think you have this idea of what your life is going to end up looking like and what it's going to end up being. You really don't. You have no idea what's in store for you, and you have no idea what goodness could be coming to you very soon. Life can literally change overnight. Sometimes that change can be hard, but a lot of the times that change, even despite it being hard, is actually going to direct you to where you need to be in life, and it's going to put you at the exact point in your life that you deserve to be in that moment. And I mean that in like a good way, like deserve to be in a good way. So yeah, I guess I'd just be open to change and realize change is going to come your way at some point, even if it doesn't seem like like it is. Again, I talked about this earlier in the video, but I truly didn't think there was ever any fixing me, or that I would ever get better, or that there was change that was coming my way that was going to be good. And now I'm here, and I feel so grateful for that. And I'm so thankful that I'm at the position that I am right now, and that I'm able to share this stuff with you guys and help you guys out, hopefully the best that I can. So yeah, so that is going to bring us to the end of this video. I got a lot more submissions, but I think this video is already going to be pretty long, and I've already been filming for how long? An hour and a half. So this is going to be fun to edit, but thank you guys so much for watching. Again, follow my Instagram so you guys know. I know you guys are probably going to want another episode of this, so be sure to follow me on Instagram, because I'll definitely be going to my Instagram story soon to prep for the next episode. Subscribe to my channel. Again, I've been posting so much, and it's been so much fun, and I would love to have you around and hang out with me again. So subscribe to my channel, give this video a thumbs up. I love you so much. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you very soon with another video. Love you. Bye-bye.